Hey, what's going on, the friends? My name is M238, and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 3DS. We're off up last time. We were in some scary areas, such as Beneath the Well and the ancient Castle Vikana, and now in this part, we are going to take on the Stone Tower Temple, and today, I have a guest with me.
And I'm that guest. How's it going, everybody? I'm Watch McGivett, or Watcha. It doesn't matter which one you call me, I suppose.
It doesn't matter which one you call you, so can I call you, Bob?
Well, it'd be a first, but I suppose if you really wanted to. Just as long as you don't call me Mega.
Okay.
So I can't be called that. I mean, makes me shudder. The thought of it just makes me shudder.
All right.
Anyway, we get this very spooky statues of these guys. I'm glad I get to see that.
Yeah.
Give me nightmares tonight again.
What would you like to? So there's actually a very specific reason as to why I brought Watcher here, but we're gonna go over that like much later into the dungeon, which
Absolutely.
to you guys, it's probably going to be in like maybe 1 or 2 videos from now. But anyway.
That's right, Max is going to be stuck with me for a couple videos, so enjoy.
Yeah. Alright, so what can you tell us about the Stone Tower Temple?
Well, the Stone Tower Temple is a very eerie place. I think it's probably one of the more eerie of all the dungeons, or all the temples, rather. Definitely well, for one thing, with the statues is one thing, but just the mechanics of this temple and everything is a little... I like it, though. I like how it works. I mean, it's like, first you have to climb to the temple, as you see Max is doing now. This is not the actual temple. This is stone, like the climb up to the temple, so he's not in yet.
It's called Stone Tower.
Yeah.
But we're about to head up to Stone Tower Temple soon.
Make the tedious climb to the temple using the Elegy of Emptiness, which Max just got. But speaking of that, have you talked about how the, like, I guess rather, how the statues are essentially like the dead bodies of their souls you captured?
I have not yet, but when we get to a certain part, I will show off all the statues because it'll be easier to show all those up when I actually get there.
Oh yeah. Well, for those of you now, as he's putting these down, you can kind of see that they might resemble some people you've seen in the past, so that's a nice little touch.
Yeah. And actually, so yeah, this part is actually like really tedious. The first part here, you have to play the Elegy of Emptiness quite a lot. However, you can kind of save a little bit of time on the with the animation by just pressing A, and you can actually start moving again while the statue's forming.
Yeah, that part you can. Unfortunately, playing the song, though, you have to sit throughout the whole thing, so that does take quite a bit of time, but you're going to be doing that a lot throughout this whole area, though, so definitely that's something that you guys, you viewers are going to have to get used to, because it's required for this temple. It's a very big part of it. But that is actually one of the cool things about this area, is that it actually forces you to use all your... To this point, each temple was kind of based on the skill you got. So you had like the first one with the Deku, the second one with the Goron, the third one with the Zora. And now this one, since you have all 3, is kind of forcing you to use all of your abilities to this point. So it's one of the more in-depth temples as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what makes this temple unique. Yeah, so that's basically the gist of it up until we get to the top, which might actually be at the very top now. We just gotta play this like a couple more times here.
Yeah, I think you are like right there.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, as you notice, when Max like steps off the switch, if there's not a statue there, you know, all the blocks will go back. So that's part of the annoyance of this, is that you have to make sure you do it right. And when you play another song, I mean, yeah, that's why you have to use more than one of your characters. You can't just reuse the same one, because if you do, it will disappear from the prior switch. So it forces you to make use of your other masks on that, which is cool. Oh yeah, I think you have to get... I remember this one. Yeah, only lets you get it from right there. Those naughty game designers. They did that on purpose. They wanted to make people have to step forward a few more feet. Tisk, Nintendo.
So, viewers of What Just Channel might know that some amount of months ago, he did a live stream playthrough of Majora's Mask 3D. So, would you like to talk about what you think about this game? It can be about Majora's Mask in general, and not just pertaining to 3D exclusively.
Well, yeah. Firstly, I'll say, yeah, I did a stream series of this. It ended about a couple months ago this summer, so that's one of the reasons that Max wanted to have me on, is because of some stuff that happens in my stream series in this temple, which is very funny, which, like he teased, we'll get into that later if you guys are curious about that, but that's something that's gonna be, yeah, pretty funny. But anyway, I did a stream series of this, and I enjoyed it. It's the first time I'd actually played through the game in full. Like, I had seen playthroughs of this game, but I've never actually played through the game in full, including in the original. I've not played the original, I've only played this version. But I do think this is the better version, even though there are a few things that are different that maybe some people may not like. I didn't mind. But in terms of like gameplay, this is probably the thing that stands out about Majora's Mask is that it always will hold a place of uniqueness because of the ability to transform with masks. It's the only Zelda game that you can do that. So and combined with the time limit that they have you do. Real quickly here, these are
So this is Mikau when he died. And this is us right here. You can make a really creepy pasta with that. And then this is Darmani.
Yeah, Darmani.
And you might notice that I'm not using my Deku Mask for any of this, and that's because the Deku form cannot step on switches in general. So even if you place a Deku statue,
it's basically worthless. Yeah.
But I'm gonna show this off anyway, just to show you guys what it looks like.
Yeah, it's worthless to use the Algae of Emptiness for the Deku, but...
Oh, it's a little less creepy in this version. I know in the N64 version it's a little weird because his eyes are white.
Yeah, and I think that also adds further to the, like, sense that they kind of allude to that it's maybe the Deku Butler's son that you have that's in that mask, that you got that mask from. But, I mean, it kind of just, like, it's a random Deku, but it seems like that because it's the only one you know of that was in that area, or you know. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never actually thought about that.
I mean, I think they do like, I won't actually say that because it's kind of spoilers, but they're, like, there's some stuff later on in the credits later that will kind of, you know, further illustrate things.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so yeah, here we are in the actual dungeon itself.
This is the dungeon. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know you were in the middle. Did you want to continue talking about Majora's Mask?
I'll finish what I was saying, but I was gonna say briefly too. Actually, I'll save that. But there's something interesting about the Link statue. That there's like a theory associated with that we can definitely talk about in this temple. But I'll save that for later. I was just gonna say that, yeah, in my mind, I really enjoyed the game because, well, I enjoyed playing through it, but I think it always, regardless of like how many Zelda games are made in the future, Majora's Mask will always stand out because it's the only one that has a time limit and the ability to transform into other races that we've seen in Zelda games in the past. That this was the only one that allowed us to do that. So the kind of puzzles that it allowed this game to have, and really it stands out like much more unique than all the other Zelda games, or it stands out very differently from those other ones. So for that reason, it's a very good game. I will admit it was very intimidating to me though, because for having not played it like myself before, I was kind of worried that for getting 100% I would struggle, since you have to do things in a certain order and do things within the time limit to actually get certain things. So that was a little bit intimidating because I knew that I couldn't just like continue like normal games. You can just proceed in an order a certain order and then go get stuff whenever. But in this one, if you mess up, you may have to redo a lot of things, which would have been difficult for a stream series. But I ended up doing okay. I watched a few like things that jogged my memory beforehand, but I ended up doing okay. So I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it in the end. So really, I like this game quite a bit. That's I guess that's pretty much my for the most part my thoughts on the game. There's probably a lot more that I could think of, but overall, that's what I would say is what stands out to me about it.
Oh wow, I just killed all 3 of them.
And this kind of gives into what like Max is doing now, like I said about how this whole area is one of the most in-depth temples because you have to use almost everything you have. Like he just got this mirror shield recently, and now that is going to need to be used here. The Elegy of Emptiness and all his like abilities need to be used here. And there's even some different rooms where he's going to have to use all of his masks to do different things as well. So this kind of brings everything full circle. It's a pretty good final temple for that reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely very comparable to, let's say, like the Spirit Temple from Ocarina of Time, where you're using your knowledge for both child and adult Link with that game, and this game you're using the knowledge of all of the resources that you've acquired from the previous 3 dungeons.
Absolutely, it's almost exactly like the Spirit Temple in that way. Like you've come. They're usually pretty good with that. The last temples in the Zelda games are usually pretty good with doing that.
Yeah.
Making you, and there's another perfect example here how he has to use his Goron to get a bunch of this stuff here. So like you'll see, you have to use a lot of the different masks here and stuff, which is pretty good about this temple in reality.
All right, so if you didn't get that key from that room, then you would not be able to progress into here.
And that would be very silly. So that would not. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, here's one of the things actually. Yeah, when you're with the Zora, unlike in the N64 version, you have to actually use your magic to swim faster.
Okay, so you have to do this. This is I'm not very good at this. Okay, there we go.
Not very good. He's just being modest, folks. Don't don't let him fool you.
That took me the first time I played this. The first time I did this, it took me 3 in-game hours to hit that switch.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
But they changed this chest. This chest was already there in the original version, but you actually have to make it appear in this version.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's one of the things, though, that people don't like. When I was talking about the game earlier, there's some changes that some people don't prefer in this game. I don't really mind the changes, but one of them is that, yeah, like the Zora cannot swim fast without using up magic. Some people don't like that, and some people don't like the bosses are a little bit different in this game. In some cases...
Very different, yeah.
Like, in some cases, they're fairly similar. Like, I would say that... The biggest difference is the eyeball popping out of them. I mean, some of them are pretty similar. Like the first one is pretty similar yet, and so is the second one. Except that when you hit them to a certain point, you have to actually hit their eye. Where it gets a little bit more different is the last boss that Max would have fought in the 3rd dungeon, and then this one is also a little bit different. But we'll get into that, of course, when we reach there. But that's also a complaint that some people have. In the end, I can understand some of the complaints. Some of the things are a little bit, like, unnecessary, I suppose, with changes. Like, some people would have preferred, I guess, a port of, almost more of a direct port like Ocarina of Time 3D was. It was pretty much everything was the same, except they, changed it for 3DS. But I don't think the changes are severe enough that it ruins the game. In fact, some of them are definitely better, like the ability to save whenever. That is like a huge thing that makes this game a lot easier, because the first one can only save at certain, like an exit save, and you had to work with the time limit on top of that, I guess. So I think it's still a pretty good game. Like, I can understand some of the criticism, but in the end, I think it's not enough to warrant it not being a good game, because it is fun. It is a good game.
Yeah.
And here, of course, is using more of the mirror puzzles. You have to kind of hold it up long enough to charge up those suns. Oh my god, it's a Goron! Max, talk to him. It's a Goron, bro. Oh, he left. I don't know where he went. Just because you didn't talk to him, he kind of hurt his feelings. But you have to like charge up the light on these mirrors, or else you can't use them, which is kind of cool. Interesting puzzle. And you have only a limited amount of time. Like there, like see it there, he didn't get to charge it long enough, so then it goes out. It's kind of interesting.
Also, those shadow enemies don't like light.
Yeah, you can hit them with the light and it kills them, I believe. I think only like those other suns on the wall, you can hit them, but like nothing happens really. I don't think.
Nothing happens.
Only one gives you a straight fury. The other ones like don't like give anything worth your time. And there's speaking of straight fairies. Oh my god, there they are again! Actually, I don't know why you're ignoring those guys, bro. They just want to talk. They're just Gorons. They just have funny looking faces. Is all. See here you can use his Deku,
hold on. Almost went too far ahead of myself.
Yeah, this is now Max is gonna have to hit this switch. He's gonna have to hurry up very quickly to hit that other switch over there. This can be a little bit challenging at times, but not for Max. Because he got it. Actually, it's not that bad if you kind of do what like you saw, like instead of trying to go on one continuous thing, like Max kind of stopped there and just realign himself. If you do that, it makes it a lot easier to do. And then see, yeah, this is another perfect example. Like this room, you get to float with your Deku again. Just overall a good incorporation of all your stuff. But I made that chest spawn over here, and oh, look at all these nice rupees.
So this is a new mechanic here for Deku Link. It's been a long time since the Deku Link has a new mechanic, and that is these winds here. They will actually allow the Deku form to fly a little bit longer, and this is important in order to get through this room.
Max is going backwards because he's cool. He's gonna.
Look,
I'm going backwards. Yeah, they'll basically rekindle you every time you get on those, so that's kind of it's a cool little thing to have in a straight fairy. So do you still need a bunch of rupees for the banker yet, or did you do that?
Yes, I do.
Already? Okay, so these rupees are very helpful to you. Actually, you're gonna get something later this temple that makes getting rupees very easy. Or at least it's my favorite way to grind. Rupees, so that's something we can talk about later. They even give you an opportunity to do it in this this temple, but and this is one of the first mini bosses of the dungeon. Tattle is wanting to speak, but of course we don't need Tattle's filthy help.
Yeah, so I believe this guy is Garo?
I think this is the Garo Master, isn't it? He's the Garo Master. He's the best of all the Garo.
To think I could be defeated, although you are my rival, you are spectacular. I shall take my final bow by opening my heart and revealing my wisdom. If you shoot that which burns with a sacred golden light into the glowing red emblem outside the temple, the world shall be rearranged so that the earth is born in the heavens and the moon is born on the earth. Do not forget these words. Die I shall, leaving no corpse.
This is the way of the Garo. The law of the Garo.
The law of the Garo.
Yeah. It's forbidden for them to die and leave behind a corpse, or else. I don't know, I guess their spirit will be punished.
Alright,
anyway,
so our item of the dungeon is light arrows.
Oh, speak of the devil, because that's exactly what I was talking about. The light arrows, there's a very good way to grind money with these things later. Yeah, and we actually will get to see that enemy later. I think, you've seen the enemy before, so it's like the bubbles, the floating skulls. If you hit them with the light arrow, they give you like 50 rupees each when they die. And if you take the light arrows outside the, they're also the most powerful arrow in the game, so like, hitting enemies with that will kill them very quickly, like this guy.
Yeah, this actually does not apply to just bubbles, but just like a bunch of other enemies too. Where they're gonna give you a lot of rupees.
I like the bubbles though, because if you go outside of, I'm blanking on the area that we were just at the beginning of this episode. When you
Kana Canyon?
Yeah, Kana Canyon. If you go to Kana Canyon, a bunch of bubbles will spawn. So there's an owl statue right there. So if you just go there and like keep going there and then go, you can just go inside the cave that takes you over to the Kana Castle, and coming back out they'll keep respawning. And then you can also, there's plants there to replenish your magic as well. So you can do that and get a whole bunch of rupees. That's how I did it, to get a whole bunch of them. So that's my favorite way to grind them anyway. I think that works very efficiently. So it's a very useful item, especially if you want a lot of money, and because it's powerful, and because it's required as well. I mean, that's also important, isn't it?
All right, so I'm gonna. So the hint that the Garo Master gave us is where it's gonna. This is gonna be
happening?
helpful. Oh no!